The law of kindness and authority. Kindness keeps the dignity of the subordinate. And, and parenting and pastoring and being a manager, a supervisor, or a boss. When you have constant anger and constant strife, when you are punishing ignorance and coaching rebellion, that is a authority out of God's order of things. God is a God of order. And so when you flip-flop that, we just heard this in church just yesterday, that especially for parents, that you coach ignorance, but you punish rebellion. You don't coach rebellion, you punish it. Why? Because the dynamic of God's order of things, you got God. God is the head of the church, head of the home, if it's a believing home. Husband's the head of the wife is the head of the children and the heart of the home. Whole lots of good stuff there, right? So when you have a junior trying to oversee, even makes my hand look weird, doesn't it? God's order of things. This is where a lot of people rebel against God, is you have God's order of things and they want to rewrite it. They want to make, the woman the head. Okay, now I got a deformed hand, right? So God's order of things. Now, this also works in business and as well, and any kind of managerial responsibility. You have someone who's ignorant. They don't know the standards, practices, and protocols of that particular department or business. So you coach it. Oh yeah, we don't staple things on the wall. We only put sticky stuff on it. We don't put staples because we don't want holes in the walls all over the place. Standards and practice of safety and security. If the floor gets wet, we run out and we put a slippery when wet sign out there. That's a safety thing, right? And we do it quickly, stand there, and we tell a teammate to come over and help us clean up this mess, so no one slips or gets hurt, right? When you have a new person and you don't have a structured training program of these things, which after about a decade or so, you probably should be journaling accidents and incidences to put into the training program. It's just that simple. There's a grace period when you first start a business or ministry or church, and you don't know what to do just yet, and you're the leader. Now, maybe you had some experience like us. I thank God that my wife and I went through the ranks as we go into the senior position of business and ministry. We've learned, what it's like to be the one who cleans, the one who cleans up other people's messes. We know what it's like to be in the service industry, and we have to apologize for things that we weren't responsible for. We just own it for it and make the moment right. And we're glad that we are part of businesses that had that philosophy. But as a leader and as a manager or a supervisor, and you fail to communicate, we don't punish ignorance. The law of kindness needs to be there to speak to people and let them know, hey, this is how we do it. Next time, let's do it this way. This is our standards and practices and protocols. That was on me. I failed to communicate to you. You're going to earn their respect a lot more instead of blaming them and punishing them for not reading your mind. Okay? And a lot of, especially in the world, I've experienced this where a lot of people thought, hey, you should know better. Well, you should communicate better. And you got to take it on the chin. And you thought, you know what? But what the fruit that it produces is what? I don't want to work for them. Better opportunity comes along and the Lord lets me, I'll take that opportunity. I'll move on. Because unrighteousness and leadership, lacking the ability to communicate first, Leaders communicate first. Leaders speak the agenda or the mission, the goal, the vision of the ministry. And then they establish the standards, practices, and protocols. Okay. If you want done something specifically a certain way, but you don't communicate it, that's on the leadership. That's not on the subordinate. And they shouldn't be punished. They should be coached and even acknowledged as a leader. Say, you know what? I failed to communicate. That's on me. Think about that the next time you're in a situation and a subordinate does something and they're doing their best to step up and they're a tour de force and they're stepping out of even their own responsibility and compensating for other people's lack of professionalism or fulfilling their responsibility. And then you go and jump on them and punish them. For what? What's the purpose of that? Frustration within the leadership, neuroses within the leadership that, hey, this person works their butts off and you punish it. Do you understand how bad of a leader you are if nobody wants to be around you? If nobody wants to be part of your crew, your team? Why? Two things: a lack of communication, a lack of establishing the agenda, the standards and practices and protocols. And the third thing is kindness. Understanding I need to coach ignorance, but I'm going to have to punish rebellion. And you can still do that with a law of kindness in your voice and a law of kindness explaining this is how we do it. We're going to sit down. I'm going to explain this. I'm going to put it in writing. I'm going to sign it and you're going to sign it. And you're going to commit to doing it this way. So if you don't do it again, this isn't a write-up. This is just a little warning here. The next time it will be a write-up. And certain places, because of politics and immoral and unethical business practices, they will keep people that just refuse to do what they're told, and their coworkers suffer. In fact, a lot of drama gets splashed on the people who actually do the standards and practices and protocols and are tour de forces, and they're earning some other people's paychecks. Now, that's another talk. But the key of keeping things in order in leadership is, one, you get their agenda from the boss. Whether you are a minister and it's the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, or it's the corporate office or the executive boss of the location that says, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Salute and execute, right? Well, then you have people who go, I don't want to do it that way. I don't like it. In this world, in this day and age, there's a lot of coaching rebellion. And it enables these people to continue in stealing a paycheck from other people who actually compensate for their rebellion and not doing their job. Something to think about, something to pray about if you're in ministry. I've dealt with it. I've dealt with pastors, junior pastors, associate pastors, being rebellious against the head of the ministry. And I'm talking in the church. I'm not talking about in the world. Now, I've experienced a lot of it in the world, but that's a longer talk. Peace and love as you work out your own salvation in Jesus' holy name. Amen.